All right, back on the Young Turks. I'm your host, Cenk Uygur. Told you about a scary documentary put together by Glenn Beck. It aired last Friday. Carl Frisch from Media Matters had the unfortunate assignment of keeping track of it. Carl, welcome to the Young Turks.
Thanks for having me.
I believe it was called A Revolutionary Holocaust, this documentary. And something about live free or die. There was a lot of dying going on in this documentary.
Something scary on there with a hat tip to New Hampshire.
Yeah. All right. So, Carl, tell us what the documentary was about. So-called documentary.
Well, I'm sure this will not come as news to you or myself, both being members of the progressive movement, that we liken ourselves after Stalin and Mao and Hitler. And that we've played part of a conspiracy to sweep the atrocities of these people under the carpet of history. That's why we've never heard about them. And that progressivism in America is in line with those teachings and is a violent political sect of American politics.
Yeah, that's why when I was younger, and to this day, of course, I've always argued against Stalin because I thought it made no sense. But yeah,
how did you know who he was? We're not told about him anymore.
Yeah, that's part of my subterfuge. Carl, is there some chance that Glenn Beck is so stupid that he never heard of what Stalin and Mao did, and so when he discovered it for the first time because of his own ignorance, that he thought it was part of a plan that to hide it from him?
There's a good chance that he was reading a book and saw a name he did not recognize. But, Fox has been, Glenn Beck in particular, has been, blowing through cash on like the stock Getty footage of Stalin and Mao and Hitler and Cold War stuff for months. So I find it hard to believe that, perhaps he's just forgotten what he learned in school, if he learned it at all. But these are not subjects that people don't know about. And certainly, I think Harry Truman would find it, and FDR would find it interesting to hear Glenn Beck's take on progressivism.
So there's several things I don't understand here. My understanding was Mao was against the educated class, etc., among many other things. I thought the progressives were in favor of education and the ivory towers and the elite, etc. So how can we be in favor of the elite and want to kill all the educated people like Mao did at the same time? I'm confused.
Well, more than that, not only are we in favor of the educated masses, but we're the ones that put into place workplace regulations that kept kids out of the workplace factories and put them in schools. So the point here, forget how stupid Beck is for a second. There's plenty of time to talk about that. There's a new book coming out in, I believe, early June or late May, written by the guy that wrote that great series of pieces about Glenn Beck's early career for Salon. Beck has a clear goal here in the run-up to a book that he's writing called The Plan that he'll be releasing in time for the 2010 elections. And that is to scare the bejesus out of the people that watch his show. He's been talking about how progressives and Democrats want to strip the American people, specifically conservatives, of their freedom, of their liberty, of their guns for months. And now he's trying to paint a picture that, like Stalin, like Mao, like Hitler, progressives will do anything to keep and increase power, including violence.
Now, to me, in my mind, it looks like there's two things here, Carl. One is, yes, he wants to equate progressives and turn progressive into a dirty word and equate progressives with not just Stalinists and Maoists, but inexplicably with Nazis and fascists, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's part one. But part two is what I'm more concerned about. He's telling everybody, if you get a radical, leftist, uber-left, progressive government like Obama's, it will inevitably lead to a genocide. And if it does, even if it's going to, wouldn't you want to do something about it? That's what I'm worried about, that implication.
Nod, nod, wink, wink. I think there's two remarkable things in that statement, which is, first of all, the notion that Obama is somehow some kind of a leftist president. And second of all, precisely what you mentioned, I mean, it would not be the first time that people heard Glenn Beck and then took to the streets for rallies and held signs that said, "Next time we'll bring our guns." So, this is Glenn Beck at his finest, inciting people, misleading them wildly, and filling their heads with nonsense. Scary nonsense. Nonsense that the rational person, if this stuff was true, would want to stand up against.
And, Carl, on Media Matters, and it's MediaMatters.org is the website, you guys document what he says, right? So all you do is quote, right? But, again, it's the lack of logic and sense just befuddles me. On the one hand, he says to all of his followers, grab your guns and be ready to die, okay? On the other hand, he says the left-wing guys are the ones that always cause the violence. I mean,
are you trying to apply logic and reason to this?
Okay, Carl, let me put it this way. Look, am I exaggerating, or is he literally saying that stuff? Because you watch.
He's basically saying that. I mean, but that's Glenn Beck's circular logic. It's called the Becko chamber for a reason. And now that Sarah Palin has joined the network, it really is stupid in stereo. I don't know if you caught that interview that he conducted with her, where he asked her the tough-hitting question like, "Who's your favorite founding father?" And she initially replied, "All of them," because she likes her founding fathers like she likes her newspapers. But he is an interesting, bizarre, remarkably unintelligent individual. It gets to a point sometimes where it's just absolutely embarrassing. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like for Sarah Palin to be sitting in that interview and have Glenn Beck reading to her from his diary about how nervous he is about interviewing her.
Yeah, the man is, I mean, I call him beautiful mind, because once he starts drawing up on that board, it reminds me of the Russell Crowe movie where the guy's lost his mind and he's drawing numbers and figures on the board and yelling things at himself. And,
Well, except that guy was a genius.
Well, yeah.
So, it's probably more like he's drawing these crazy conspiracy theories, more like that Mel Gibson conspiracy theory movie where he's got all those crumpled up papers in the backseat of his car that link, the Queen of England with the world banks and the four bankers that run the world and the Bush family.
Yeah, maybe I should call him Ugly Mind instead. Maybe that's a better way to go. And then he compares Sarah Palin to George Washington, which is unbelievable. Okay.
Well, it was when she said that and she started explaining why, I was like, oh, she must have read my 10-year-old nephew's book report on Washington.
I know. That's exactly what I said. I said she sounded like she's doing a book report. But, Carl, here's my final question. Look, Glenn Beck can be as crazy as he wants to be. Sarah Palin can be as stupid as she wants to be. But isn't the real problem here Roger Ailes that puts them on air? I mean, if somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm going to do a show where I'm going to compare, as much as I don't like the guy, but take Mitt Romney, and I'm going to say he's the same as Hitler, and he's going to cause a genocide, and somebody should do something about it and grab their guns, I would never let them on air, right?
Well, and then you'd ask them just once, and they'd say, no, every week. Yeah, of course not. And that's the crazy thing about all of this is, when Beck got in trouble for calling the president a racist not long ago, the network said, we don't agree with him, but he's allowed to say whatever he wants. So to Fox, this really is all about money and political power and control. Roger Ailes is going to be on this week on ABC this weekend. It'll be interesting to see if he's held the task for what his network does day in and day out, or whether the mainstream press will circle the wagons in defense of him and treat him like polite company, like they do, like they have in the past.
Well, I can guarantee you which direction it's going, and they will suck up to him, they will kiss his ring, and hope to be hired by him one day. But
I believe the ring is called Precious, by the way.
Yeah. All right. If people want to find out what's in the documentary and on the insane things that Glenn Beck has said, Media Matters has pages on top of pages of exact quotes. Carl Frisch, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back.